The Student Activity Board hired a magician to come to campus. The magician charges $500 for his 2-hour event. I hope he's good. The board decided to charge $3 for a ticket to the event. Let X represent the number of tickets sold and Y represent money in a linear model, which can be used to estimate the profit or loss based on the number of tickets sold. We're going to do 3 things with this problem. First, we are going to find how much would the Student Activity Board earn or lose by selling 31 tickets. Then how many tickets must be sold for the Activity Board to break even? And how many tickets must be sold for the Activity Board to make a profit of $800? Well, before we can even really get into part A, we need to write a linear model. So, our linear model. Now, we know that the constant change in this is the tickets, right? Ticket prices. So every time somebody buys a ticket, we bring in $3 more, $3 more, $3 more. And the starting point, before anybody even buys a ticket, when we hire the magician, that costs us $500. So that's our starting point, our y-intercept. So if we think about this, our profits or loss, which they said is y, constant change is our slope. We're going to bring in $3 per ticket, where X is the number of tickets. So that's what we're bringing in, right? It's positive money for us, the Campus Activity Board. But we're paying out $500 for this magician. So we have to take out the $500 that we're giving to the person for coming. So now that we have our linear model, now we can play with part A, where part A says we sold 31 tickets. Well, remember, that means that X is 31 because X represents the number of tickets. So y equals 3 times 31 minus 500. So order of operations, I'm going to multiply these together first. So 3 times 31 gives me 93 minus 500. And that gives me a negative 407, which means if we sell 31 tickets, we will have a $407 loss. Because no matter how many tickets you sell, you have to pay $500 to the magician, right? So if we only sell 31 tickets, we have a huge loss. All right, so let's look at letter B. How many tickets must be sold for the Activity Board to break even? Now, break even means no profit, no loss. So when you're looking at your y equals 3x minus 500, remember the y tells us the profit or loss. Well, if we have neither, no profit, no loss, that means we are at 0. The break-even point is 0. So now I have to solve for x. You're working backwards. So just to recall, this equal sign tells you, math about equality. Whatever you do to the left, you got to do to the right. So when I'm looking at solving this problem, I want to get x by itself. So I want to get rid of this 500 is in the way. So I'm going to just go ahead and add 500 to each side. Now, 0 plus 500 on the left just gives me 500. On the right, I still have 3x, but notice, negative 500 plus 500 goes away. And that's the purpose. We call these inverse operations because they're opposite signs. All right, so now I'm dealing with 500 equals 3x. Okay, well, how do I get rid of this 3? Well, a number touching a variable is multiplication. So to undo multiplication, I divide. Because 3 divided by 3 is 1, and that leaves me with 1x. When I take 500 divided by 3, I get 166.67. Well, if you are selling tickets, can you sell 0.67 of a ticket? The answer to that would be no. So in order to break even, we would need to sell 167 tickets. If we sell 166, we are taking a loss. So when you're trying to break even, if it doesn't come out evenly and nicely and no decimal, you do want to round up because breaking even is better to be a little bit above than below, because below you're still taking a loss. And letter C. How many tickets must be sold for the Activity Board to make a profit of 800? This is very similar to part B. Okay, so first remember we've got our y equals 3x minus 500. Well, if we have a profit of 800, the y is a profit, or loss. Because it's a profit, it's positive. If it would be a loss, that's negative, but we're not dealing with a loss, we're dealing with a profit, so we have a positive 800. And again, we're going to use that same concept of the equal sign. Do whatever you want, just do it to both sides. And then I can say, okay, I'm going to add 500 basically we're doing the same steps we just did because those 500s would go away. And I'm left with 1300 equals 3x. Again, I want to get rid of the x or the 3, so I divide both sides by 3. And I end up with x equals 433.33. Well, that again is a decimal. You cannot sell 0.33 of a ticket. So if you want to have a profit of 800, then you have to sell 434 tickets. It'll be a little bit above 800, but if you only sell 433, you're below 800, so you did not hit your goal.